How much does one helicopter cost? For a helicopter, it's 4.5 million US dollars. And when they say 11 million in today's terms, that's about 90 million rupees to 100 million rupees. How is this selection of 100 million? If we multiply by 5, that's about one time. How much fuel does it need? For this, it's about 1.5, or 2 o'clock. We know these figures. The reason is to fly, the most semiconductors in the world are used in this. Helicopters and cars both have this. Cars use a lot of semiconductors and they get semiconductors. So they said that for one test run, they have one helicopter and one showroom at their location. A, B, C, today we have these with us. Indonesian entrepreneur Benny Wazap is here. This video is powered by AVT Premium Tea. Welcome, Minicheta. Hello. Betsikan Nende. Greetings. Hello. Greetings. But in some of these discussions, when people like you are present, the audience wishes to hear stories that are different from you. Your previous one FB post, we saw it. If asked, what was that FB post? It's the story of going to buy a helicopter. But viewers shouldn't see this as just an exaggerated story. This is actually a story from his life where he went to buy a helicopter. I'm telling you, I went myself and it really happened. So as I said, in my mining, there's a running operation and I have an operating partner. Then after we fly for about 1 to 1.5 hours from Jakarta, we can reach Sumatra. To get to the province called Sitangkulu, where my mining operation is located, from there we have to travel about 106 hours by car, all the way through rough roads, and only then do we reach our mining location. So usually each time when a shipment arrives, foreign buyers will come, and if they want us to take them, they have to come in the morning and return by evening. No matter how fast we drive, it takes 6 to 12 hours, and we still can't make it in time. And in such situations, there aren't any exclusive hotels or 5-star hotels there. 13-star hotels and such are stories from another era. Last year, or rather after the post-COVID period in 2021, that's when he started insisting on me a lot. He said, "Why don't we buy a helicopter?" I also thought about it, and the person who suggested this was an Indian, not someone from there. So I wondered, has he watched the movie Rocky Bhai? Then he said, "All these guests are just showing off, sir, just to make us come over there. Let's do one thing. Let's try getting a helicopter." Then the guy said, and I replied, "I won't invest in that." Then he said, "I'll invest, but only if you gradually adjust and pay me back. I'll charge you for it." After that, I said, "Okay, then can I use it?" I asked. Then he said, "Let it be then." So we decided to register together, got a help out, and Bell 505, a Canadian US company, is there. So we placed the order, paid the full amount to Bummy, paid all the money. After paying all that, we asked, Wanandi, what would be the price for one makeup for the helicopter? They said 4.5 million US dollars. 4.5 million US dollars means it comes to about 90 million rupees. So when we say approximately 11 million, that's what it is today. 9 crore rupees. Yes, 9 crore rupees as well. Let's not talk about elections. Let's just add 9 crore as an introduction. So roughly 50 crore rupees, right? The price of one helicopter is about 50 crore rupees in Indian money. Now, this is a normal single. What kind of helicopter is it? Is it a 1+1 3-seater or a 1+2 seater? In the front, there's the pilot, and in the back, 2 people can sit. The helicopter we're talking about, the Bell 505, is that kind of helicopter. When we talk about its section, it's the one with the highest accident rate, and it's also the most widely used in various sectors. That's the section we selected based on those criteria. Then price is a major factor. There are helicopters with a lower profile than this, right? There are even lower profile ones than this. There are also higher profile ones than this. For example, the ones used by Ravi Pillai sir and Yusuf Ali sir are Boeing and Airbus companies. And then there are helicopters as well. All of those are extremely expensive. I've heard that they cost around 100 crore rupees to 1 crore rupees. Since we are ordinary people, that's why we decided to buy a helicopter at a lower price back then. Okay, so that story came, and well, this is quite an interesting story for us. So because of that, we made such decision. Then there was a waiting period for the helicopter, like how when you book a car, you have to wait, thinking it might come today or tomorrow. We were told the same, that it would come today or tomorrow, and so we had to wait like that. For that, we appointed an Australian as a pilot, and then we processed all the paperwork for parking arrangements at the local airport there. Everything was done, but only the helicopter wasn't arriving. In the end, after a lot of back and forth and writing with them, the matter was still pending. Back then, our Meseme condors, at that time, we used to say that Taiwan uses the most semiconductors in the world. Just like that, in all electronic equipment, helicopters, and high-end cars, a lot of semiconductors are used. At that time, there was a severe shortage post COVID. Many factories were closed for almost 2 years and only just reopening, so they weren't able to get semiconductors. Then they said that they had a helicopter in their showroom for a test run. So they told us, "Sir, take that and start using it. When our new equipment arrives, we'll take this one back." That made us really happy. So at that time, we took the equipment and came back planning to use it. For the first trial run, I climbed in like a king. With all the switches and everything, that's where we started. We didn't have a mining site as big as Sumatra. Ours was only that much because otherwise there's no ocean or anything to land on. And it's not that capable, not that much capacity. If it were, we'd need a military helicopter. We had to make do with what we had, and we wondered how long it could actually fly. How much time can we fly with 11 units of fuel? Maybe 1.5, or 2 hours. So if I go first, we can figure this out. Our mine is surrounded by forest on all sides. On one side, there's a village. Only if we go through the area near that village can we get there. That's our only entry point. But some houses in Sumatra have a unique feature. All the houses in Sumatra have tin sheet roofs. Because of the region's geography, there are frequent earthquakes and similar natural events. So if the roof collapses, it's to ensure people's safety that they use single sheets. We have a helicopter. On top of that, as I mentioned, you can go there and land. Since it's weightless, right? Compared to our usual aluminum sheet, that's what I'm talking about, the tin sheet. So it's not like our current eliminate sheet, it's the tin sheet, the one that was used in the past. That's why I was wondering, can we fly over it? The entire top of 27 houses flew away, 27 in total. So these are small houses. When asked what exactly happened, I hadn't expected it. None of us expected this. So what did we do? Then, as villagers, we came together and even held a meeting about it. We decided to do one thing. We compensated for it because we had to fix it permanently. So for these 27 houses, that's our route. We concreted the roofs of all 27 houses. That's what we said. So is it something very costly? All the little houses there are like that. We said, well, we are building small houses, not mansions, and we can do it for you now. Then they said, let everyone be happy, sir. We agreed, signed all the agreements, and the next day, the village head, and then in each of these villages, there is a parliament. So the parliament that controls the governance of the village is the village assembly. Then all of them came together again. I wondered what the issue was and asked them. They said, "Sir, when you build those 27 houses with concrete, it has become a big problem for the rest of the people. So in that village, if we share the entire 300 kilowatt among all the houses," they said, "we will allow you to land your helicopter here." So when they looked into it, they said that when we use a 1 NV factor to build our house with concrete, it automatically creates issues for those living in the thatched houses next door. Even if there are only 11 affected people, I thought, oh no, now what should I do? And sat there thinking about it. Then again, we received a letter from them. They said we actually wanted it to be immediate. Then inside that, they mentioned another issue. If a helicopter comes and says something, and if there is any medical emergency in that area, they should provide a helicopter. If any politician needs to go from here to there, they should provide a helicopter. If any police officer needs to go from here to there for an emergency operation, they should provide a helicopter. As a result, what we get to use is the time available is very limited. While this was the situation, I received an email. "Sir, there is an inspection delay. In procuring the semiconductors and microchips, or whatever you'd like to call them, what we will soon be discovering is there another helicopter that is available. So what we suggest is that we will reimburse you the money. So once the product is ready, you can pack and take delivery directly." I immediately agreed to this, gave them my bank account details, and they refunded all the money to me.
Why do we say it's up to God? Because we even managed to fly the helicopter and test it.
I took the item straight there and handed it over, and then I left from there.
What did you do with the houses you visited?
We didn't reconstruct them with concrete. We left them as they were. When we said we wouldn't use them anymore, it gave them some peace of mind. If we had gone ahead and concreted there, it would have caused even bigger problems.
If an earthquake happens,
then the remaining people will ask again, right?
Isn't it? The walls are meant to withstand competition.
It's not possible. You need to break it down with a hammer. You need to break it down with a builder's hammer. That's what we have learned some lessons from inside that, from within that. As I said, there is this one rising factor inside it. Sometimes I used to wish to be known as someone who runs a helicopter, but within that, without doing a lot of homework, I jumped straight into the matter. This is not just about one money. Even in the operation to do it, there is a difficulty for us to make it now. And just like that, there were big news stories in the local newspapers there. That is, the news that a migrant entrepreneur bought a helicopter can be interpreted in two ways. So, after saying that a migrant entrepreneur bought a helicopter, now that we have come here, we won't say from where our guest is. If our guest workers, our guest laborers come here and buy a big house, a mansion on Marine Drive in Kochi, wouldn't that be news the very next day? In the same way, a piece of news can be read in two different ways. That's why I said, even if I come and buy a helicopter anyway, that ghost left the very next day and I still. So I travel very happily in the car, even if I drive for 6 or 12 hours.
I understand. I have peace of mind. When the era of passenger drones arrives, we can think about it then.
We keep thinking about that again. I feel like in places like Dubai, they must have already started test drives, at least for delivery. They can use it for transporting goods now.
11 company are now doing drone delivery. That's what I understood when I searched online. With about $100,000, which is roughly 91 lakh rupees in Indian money, a person can do a dry travel, right?
Right now, the field where the most innovation is happening in the world, I'm not just talking about drones, is about how to save time. Our regular commercial flights, passenger flights, usually travel at less than 1,000 kilometers. That is 900 to 1,000 kilometers at Mach 1 or below Mach 1. That's what we're talking about. So the innovation happening now is about how to make it Mach 2, how to make it Mach 3. The focus is on how to reach from New York to India or from New York to Singapore in the least number of hours possible. The reason is currently it takes us 19 hours. But if it could be done in 5 hours or 4 hours, that's where things like Elon Musk's companies and concepts like Hyperloop come in. Then, with all these innovations and developments happening, when we talk about the discussion to build the Silver Line, the 11 fast railway line here, the question arises, who here actually needs to travel at such high speeds? As mentioned, when some political leaders here say certain things, like if you build it in Kasaragod, you can come to Thiruvananthapuram, have breakfast, and return the same day. Sometimes people interpret it differently, but maybe it was said just as a figure of speech or in a particular context. No, what I'm talking about is speed. Like I just said, shouldn't we have a system where someone from Kasaragod can come to Thiruvananthapuram, visit our RCC, our regional cancer center, for a checkup and return the same day? Think about the economic benefit for people, how many resources we can save for our state. That's the aspect we should be looking at. When we bring someone all the way here, have you ever thought about how much of our government's resources we are wasting? Someone is burning subsidized fuel for every trip. If there's an accident, just think every time a person is brought to a government hospital, how much money does the government spend on that? Good roads and good transportation systems. Don't take this politically. When we have good roads and good transportation systems, all those savings ultimately benefit the government, insurance company as well. Earlier, if someone became paralyzed, the responsibility of taking care of that person would fall on others, and the insurance company would have to spend a certain amount of money. So all these things are being handled very smartly nowadays. Even for our interviews, many people come to the final round and then leave. The world is very smart today. In India, wherever Vande Bharat has been introduced, the busiest place is Kerala. If we talk about Kerala's overall liquid back, when it comes to Kerala's railways, in the old days, the winding and twisting line from Nilambur forest was built by the British to transport teak. So all those things need to be resolved. Kerala has its own spatial limitations and restrictions regarding land acquisition. But once those are sorted out and brought to a certain level, we can be like a place such as Indonesia. There are trains running at a speed of 330 kilometers per hour. In Indonesia, there are trains that can go up to 330 kilometers per hour using hyperspeed. So are we talking about bullet trains? Even bullet trains right now, what takes us 4 hours by car can be covered in just 30 minutes. Still, we haven't reached even 150 kilometers per hour here. If you look at it, the average speed we get now is about 70 or 80 kilometers per hour for a train. We need to create a system that is even faster than that. My home is in Kannur, so if I want to, I could travel from Ernakulam to here every day. Right now, it takes 4 hours to get home, but if there is a system where I can reach in 2 hours, I could go back and forth every day, you know? Why do we think that way? The tendency to politicize everything and view it through a political lens. This is also one of the reasons why people are reluctant to start industries in Kerala, as I mentioned earlier.